Hey, Wonder Woman Tech. Hey, I am so excited to be here with you all this year, hailing on the virtual stage, speaking on the Ignite stage, right? I am so excited to be here because it literally has been on my wish list for the last 5 years to be a part of this event. And unfortunately, it took a global pandemic to make it all possible. And for that, I am truly grateful, not for the pandemic, but for the possibility of presenting to you all at this amazing and incredible event. So without further ado, and I won't take up too much of your time, I'm just going to share a bit about myself, a horrific story, and hopefully it will be helpful to you all and some solutions and strategies that I use to navigate through it. So here goes. My name is TeLisa Daughtry. I am the founder and chief technology officer of a mobile app called FlyTechnista. We provide curated access to education, employment, resources, and career opportunities for women and girls in technology. Yay! I am hailing from the city of Boston, which is my hometown and my home office. So yeah, and a bit about me. I'm an award-winning diversity tech and STEAM advocate. I love solving problems with technology and creating solutions. I have launched over 10 businesses now. I'm literally on my 11th unbelievable, crazy, mad woman entrepreneur life, and 2 nonprofits. And I help to fund and connect early stage female founders. And I've coded and built over 400 plus products and solutions since 1998 when I wrote my very first lines of code. So 22 years later, look at this, look at us. And I believe we all should have a phrase to sum up our work and what we do and who we are. And for me is I don't wear glass slippers, I roundhouse-kick glass ceilings. So yes, that is a bit more about me, but I was not always roundhouse kicking glass ceilings. So a while ago, earlier in my academic journey, I had dropped out of high school. And then later I dropped out of college at some point, but I had continued to navigate my academic and my education journey throughout all of these incredible institutions, as well as learning online. Unbelievable. Literally 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I started learning online. So I implore anybody to take advantage, full advantage of this time and these opportunities to further grow and develop your skill set, to make yourself employable, to make yourself stand out. I strongly suggest always being a lifelong learner, and I'm always still learning. So being able to continue my education path afforded me the opportunity to work with some really cool companies at some really cool institutions and work with some amazing companies, as well as some not amazing companies. And I left those off the slide clearly because it's actually just too many to fit on this slide, to be quite honest. You know, it afforded me the opportunity to work at some really incredible places on some really incredible products, initiatives, and so on and so forth. Which brought me to, my work brought me to other incredible places. And I am forever grateful for the opportunities that, in spite of the barriers and obstacles that I faced early on in my academic journey, that I was able still to navigate to some really incredible places, from the White House in 2016 to Windsor Castle to the United Nations, where I frequently speak, several awards and several just unbelievable opportunities that I would not have believed would have been possible. And I'm not sharing these things because this is about to be some brag-worthy, brag-filled presentation. That's not this at all. I'm sharing these positive things so you can understand that in spite of the barriers, in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the setbacks, that I was still able to navigate to these spaces. And I actually want to share with you all how I did that. So how did I get here? Ta-da! This awful moment in my career. It was a really awful moment in my career. So I was well over 8 years into my career. I was actually at senior level, but I was still stuck in junior level roles. Denied advancement opportunities, leadership opportunities, promotion after promotion at company after company. And can you say discouraging AF? Like, it really, really super is discouraging, and it can definitely take blows to our confidence after encountering a lot of these things, especially over an 8-year period, right? So I ended up applying to a job at a startup, and it was a step down in my head what I thought from working in corporate America, going backwards to work at an unestablished company. But I really believed in what they were doing, what they were building. I was really passionate about the projects, and I seen the opportunity and the possibility of growth, which is why I applied. And, I was really, really excited, but I also was a little bit jaded because I just came from spaces that were toxic, that were hostile, I was overworked and underpaid and underutilized. And oftentimes in our career as women, we already don't advocate as best for ourselves as we should with our salary. So again, I'm stuck in these several places in my professional career. So fast forward, I'm at this startup. I'm killing it. I am killing it for the first time ever. I am also feeling seen. I am also feeling heard. I am also feeling valued. And, I initially took the job, even though it paid less than what I was used to, because again, I was really passionate about the work. I really enjoyed the people that I was working with and the projects that I was working on. So after I received, my annual review and several performance reviews, highly favorable, I was like, wow, I am killing it. I am finally being seen. I'm finally being heard. And then I learned that, the company was creating a senior level role for the exact thing that I was doing. So I'm like, I'm a sure win for this, right? Like, how could I not throw my ring in the hat for this opportunity? I just thought it was incredible. It was something I was already doing. It was something that I was doing well as well. So, I decided to make some time to speak with my manager to further inquire about this opportunity. And then I was basically advocating for myself for a title promotion, if not a title promotion, then a salary increase. And when I presented this to my manager, he told me that, they didn't have the money at the time to give me what I was worth, but we can have this conversation at a later time. So, I'm not thinking anything crazy. So I further inquire about the title promotion. And again, I was told that we can discuss this at a later time. A few days later, I was sending a fax to a client, and then I found on the fax machine a piece of paper. I'm not thinking anything about this paper. It's a small office, so I just flip it over to see who it belongs to, and I'm scanning to look for a name, and as I'm scanning, I'm realizing that this is a job offer for the position that I am applying for, to a young man, offering him 3 times more than me, who had 8 years less experience than I had. So I was infuriated. I was livid. I was vexed. I had to excuse myself from the environment. I told my manager that I was leaving for the day, but in reality, I just knew I was not coming back. So fast forward, this was a horrific negative experience that I faced in my life. And I really wish that I would have handled it differently. And fast forward with, time and with experience, I'm able to look back at different barriers and obstacles that I faced in my career that made me feel stuck and unable to progress and grow to the next level or show up for myself in my life the way that I desired. And, over the last few years of my career, I would say that I successfully was able to navigate based off of a framework and 2 things that really helped me. And I would like to share those things with you. So, frameworks. Frameworks actually makes the dream work. I know people think that teamwork makes the dream work, but frameworks makes the dream work, because a framework is a step of actions that can guide you through and help navigate you through like a process so you can successfully execute it, right? So this is the framework that I chose to adopt for myself. So debugging, if you are an engineer, this is a term that you are familiar with. This is a framework that you have used, but if you're not an engineer, I'll quickly explain. Debugging is a process that if you face an error or issue within your code, you can turn to a console or some other resources and tools to help you figure out where the errors and the issues lie within in your code. And it's literally 4 or 5 steps that you do in order to resolve or remove an error within the code. So you want to first start off with identifying where the error is, reflecting on it, you want to review it, and then if you can't resolve it, then you have to remove the line or the error from the code. So with this same framework, I decided to literally apply it to my life, because being able to identify the problem and the action steps needed to resolve or fix the problem, when we do that, we can better plan and act rather than react. And then so when I think back to that experience that I just shared with you, quitting the day that I seen that was me reacting. Had I had, a framework or something like this in place, I would have processed it differently. And number 2, I would have took the evidence and then possibly take some legal action, but I would have been able to process and navigate through that experience differently had I had a framework in place. And that framework for me would have been this. So the first issue was I was stuck in my career. The second issue was I needed to figure out, where does this situation come from? Is it something within myself? Is it something I'm not doing? Is it something that I don't know? And having this framework in place for me has helped me to troubleshoot every step of that problem that I was facing. So I strongly encourage you all to use this framework to identify the problem, to reflect on the problem, to review, is there something else you can be doing, and then to resolve it or remove yourself from an environment, from a negative experience, from a negative mindset, whatever it might be. The first thing that I also would say that helped me was, having grit. Like, if it had not been for having grit and encountering a moment like that earlier in my career, it would have deterred me from continuing on throughout my professional journey. So clearly I would not be here if I did not possess grit. And it is so important to have grit, because grit carried me both throughout, like, every professional or personal experience that I've had in my journey. And any time that I've had to exercise grit has also provided me with a growth opportunity. So, my definition of grit is, things are not always going to be easy, and you're not always going to be happy, and you might not even feel confident all the time, but just never give up. Never give up. Unless you've tried the 4 or 5 R's and those things have not worked for you, that's when it's time to give up. That's when it's time to quit. That's when it's time to move on and remove yourself from the environment after everything you've done to try to debug it. And if the error still persists, that's when you remove yourself. The next thing I will say is you want to reframe your doubt. And, a lot of the opportunities that we have or obstacles that we have comes from our mind. So if we are able to shift how we think about a problem, we can also shift how we see a solution. So perhaps it's not a problem, perhaps it's how we're seeing it as well. So perfect example, I'm not good at doing anything. I don't do anything good. Instead of saying that, say, I'm not good at this, but I do other things well. Or, why am I not getting promoted? How can I make myself more promotable? It starts with shifting those little things, with shifting in your mind. And I'm not sharing with you something new or something that I hope worked. These are things that actually did work for me. I had to shift my mindset. I had to build up my grit. I had to really figure out and troubleshoot the errors and the issues within my life. And those things work for me. The second thing that I would say is gratitude. Gratitude. An attitude of gratitude gets you through everything. And it's a continual mindset. Again, back to this mindset idea. It's a continual mindset of, I don't have because I'm not grateful because I have because I'm grateful. And when we shift to thinking like that, we allow ourselves to get more opportunities. And now I know it's not always easy to be grateful or to feel good when things are going wrong in our life or going wrong in our careers. And I had to learn how to build my gratitude muscle up as well. And these are some things that help for me, creating a gratitude jar, really practicing daily affirmations, practicing an abundance mindset, allowing good things to happen to me and for me, and then also paying it forward for others. And then lastly, I would definitely say sharing and celebrating my wins. So these are all things that you can absolutely start using today. And the last thing I will say is You know, don't allow yourself to stay stuck in negative thoughts or experiences or mindset, and really take the time to reflect on those 4 R's. Remember that every good opportunity is a growth opportunity, and also you want to practice gratitude daily. So I sincerely hope that this information helps and adds value to your life and helps you to navigate your careers. And I want to thank you so, so much. And please feel free to hit me up and connect with me on LinkedIn. I look forward to sharing and talking and connecting with you all in real life and in virtual spaces. And peace.